Home is where the heart is. Heaven knows I didn't get enough, and I'm afraid of darkness. So life is better when you light me up. And I'm ashamed of all of my mistakes. For heaven's sakes, I've been swinging from the rafters, and I don't know if I got what it takes. For heaven's sakes, throw me out with all them bastards. Small tears.
To our listeners at home, you know that normally we cook during the show, but we already ate today, so now we're not. So
Fingers still smell like chicken.
It smells amazing.
I wash my hands.
It smells good. There's a tray of chicken right here. Super good. So Dave, did you? It's been a week or two since we did our last podcast. Have you thought about what you want to talk about?
Yeah, and I didn't come up with anything.
Yeah, me neither.
Because evidently you can cover everything in the forest
in
six
a
weeks.
few episodes and say the trees. We have. I mean, the smoke's gone, and
the smoke's gone,
which is nice.
I won't say what's great.
What's great?
But the tourists are gone.
I know. God bless them.
God bless them. We love them and we need them.
We need them, but it is nice when it's quiet.
The last week, I mean, the first week of tourists pretty much being, our kids are all in school. Labor Day weekend is the last big weekend, and this is the weekend after Labor Day weekend.
And fall is in the air. It's just got that crispness.
It was still 80-something today, but it's going to be getting cooler.
Yeah, it's cooler in the evenings, so it's pretty nice.
That's nice.
Pretty cool. I tried to level the barbecue. I might need to try again.
Well, I'm going to save you a picture of something I saw, send it to you on a nice little cooking area thing to make that wouldn't be too hard.
All right,
so
I want to do that.
That would be a podcast.
I think that would be cool. I'd like to make that whole thing into kind of a makeshift outdoor kitchen. So we leveled it, but I need to use sand instead of dirt underneath the stones there. And get a really
wash away.
It will. So what's
Well, we were talking beforehand about what should we talk about, what kind of topics, and Sunday's a day of rest. That's what it's known of. As growing up in church, day of rest. How well did you rest today?
I did not rest at all today until this moment. We had Molly and Fiona were involved in the Sunday school in the morning, and then we all went to church, and then after church there was a church meeting. A special vote took place.
Yes, it was a momentous occasion.
I think we had was it unanimous?
Groundbreaking.
Literally groundbreaking.
Very groundbreaking because we are
changing
resurfacing part of the parking lot,
pulling out the blacktop. Had to vote on that, and then came back here and had another meeting at my house here, and then I'm having guests over tomorrow night, Monday night, and I don't have any food, so we went down to the grocery store to get a bunch of food. And then a lot of random stuff in the house. My daughter likes gymnastics, so she collects all sorts of bouncy things, and we had to move them all out because the house was filled with bouncy things. So no, it was not a day of rest for me as it ought to be. Well, how about you? Did you rest at all?
I guess it's resting. I kind of phased out for a little bit. I didn't sleep or nothing, but I did get home and I had received an email that I needed to look at, and it had a Microsoft Word document in it that I needed to open up. And when I opened up the Microsoft Word document, another document opened up, and it was the half-done report I needed to do for work that I must have went to something else on during the week and forgot to do it. So I had to sit there and do that, finish out that report.
You're like, oh, I got this.
And I was already kind of tired, and so anyway, so I worked on Sunday. I'm gonna try to make my Sabbath tomorrow, and we'll see.
Yeah, I will work tomorrow as well, but maybe come back here early to set up the house and have all my work friends over. So it'll be more restful, I think, than today.
So that's a report on us.
That's an update.
And
in case you're wondering.
As for subjects, we couldn't think of one. So while you were moving more stuff around, I Googled subjects for podcasts.
Everything's on the internet.
Everything's on the interwebs.
So, how many ideas do they have there?
Well, this is one article that lists 200 free ideas for your next podcast.
You don't have to pay for them.
You don't have to pay for them.
Man, that's amazing.
They're ideas for us, and so I figured
Let's go
we'd
through all
go through
200.
as many as possible,
All right.
and we might take some of those good ideas,
And we'll write them down.
and we'll write them down, and some will mock,
That's a good idea.
and some will
Probably just
who
blow right
knows?
past. Yeah.
It won't make any sense to us because
Yeah,
we're not professional broadcasters.
We are not in the know. All right, you ready to start at the top?
I'm ready to start. Number one. Actually, I don't number these, so if I don't number them,
Oh,
they have an idea, then they have little sub
okay.
ideas with them. So one, interview everyone on your block.
Okay.
Call it the block.
Oh, I like that. It's like prison, right? Isn't there like blocks in prison?
Yeah, that's C block, D block.
Yes.
Interview everyone on D block.
that would be a great podcast.
What exactly is your block?
It's a wandering. There's a road. There used to be an old donkey cart road that has fairly recently been paved. It was paved in 1950, and there's no block. I guess the roads sort of trail off from there, and then there's other cabins with nobody in them. So we've interviewed everybody who's wandered up the driveway. So I think we did that one.
We did one that wandered up the driveway. Your dad was on the block at the moment, although he doesn't live there.
Yeah, and that was a good one.
It says, okay, so it says, interview everyone on your block, call it the block. Number one, more ambitious, everyone in your zip code.
That is more ambitious.
Less ambitious, at the table in the coffee shop where you're sitting.
All right. I think those are good ideas. I'm not sure about everyone in the zip code because that would...
People on the block, our neighbors. Let's see. Interview our
Neighbors. And there's some interesting people in town, I think. If we were able to coax them up here, we could have a good talk.
There's some weirdos.
That is a fact.
There's some weirdos.
Strange.
Here's number two. Record yourself making your dinner. Describe what you're making.
We sort of did that too.
You know, they probably don't have a lot of cooking shows online, so that would
that would fill that niche.
There's a
niche
there, a little tiny niche of
cooking
demonstrations on the internet.
We could. I guess we're unique in that we don't have any visual cues, so we just can describe basically turning the barbecue on and cooking steaks.
This is omit the dinner. This is the number one subpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Omit the dinner. Add building a cabinet. It's a DIY show without visuals.
Hey,
We could just, and then we
just
boom.
hammering on things. Okay, it's coming together. No, yeah, I'm gonna need a 11:30 second. Wait, you have that in reverse.
I don't know if they're serious or they're being funny.
That would be an amazing show.
That as funny.
That would be. And then you say, "Wow, that's a pretty good cabinet."
Let's see a DIY show.
DIY show without visuals.
Without visuals.
For me, it'd just be a lot of swearing. I'd be like upset.
Keep the dinner, but add breakfast sounds like sizzling bacon.
Ooh, I'd like to be able to do sound effects on the show. I want to be able to set this up so we can do that. I think that'd be cool. And if we can what?
This is the third one. Don't mention what you're cooking. The audience has to guess based on the sounds.
So do you say anything then? You need to saute that a little longer. It's still barking.
Let's see. Now we're going on to number 3, the third one.
All right.
I'm going to forget what number we're on here. Your entire season covers one person. We haven't thought about seasons or anything like that.
Yeah, how many shows are in a season on a podcast?
Since we haven't edited it and put any up, no problem. We can just, everyone's just going to think that we had that already done. So
yeah, in fact, when we do the shows, instead of saying this is 8, we should say this is like 38, and then people will be looking for the lost episodes.
Episode 1, profile of the person. Episode 2, looks at industry where the person works. Episode 3, an in-depth look at a hobby the person enjoys. Episode 4, a looks at the personal congressional district. Episode 5, An interview with the person's favorite author.
Wow.
Episode 6, reader questions and feedback. So I think...
Who would we pick to do that?
I think we should pick the number 1 teacher of the forest, Molly Rose.
She would be good.
I don't think so.
And then... Molly, what's your favorite author?
I don't know.
Is he or she
We'll
still
say
alive?
Jesus.
Jesus is my favorite author. He wrote the story of my life.
Here's another one that makes me think maybe this isn't so serious. By the way, this is from, I guess it can be an app. It's called Medium. It says smart stories, new ideas, no ads. But the next idea is, let's see. This is in different type here. It decides.
Looks like they glued it in.
It says, a podcast based on the question, how'd you know? The question is open-ended. Let guests take you where they'd like.
That's it? So you invite somebody to your house, say they've got a microphone here, I'm going to go, okay, we're starting the show. How'd you know? And then leave them hanging?
Leave them hanging. Well, it's like, what's your wife's name?
Miranda.
Miranda. How do you know she was one for you?
Oh,
just can't say yes or no.
You're better.
That must be what it
okay,
is.
that's
I don't
much
know.
better. So you just continue.
So here's one that seems doable. Interview everyone in the United States with the last name Smith.
That is a good idea.
I'd say get out the phone book.
Yeah. Is there a phone book?
What's a phone book?
Yeah.
Let's ask Liam if he knows what a phone book is. Let's ask your children if you know what a phone book
They
is.
probably don't.
You know what it is? On the Weber Barbecue phone Facebook pages I subscribe to, people hold it out and they go, I got the starter for my charcoal chimney, which is what I use mine for. I didn't even think about it. I go, this is good for starting charcoal.
Because it's a thin paper.
Everyone
Everyone does. It's a really thin, non-oily paper. Evil crow walking by.
Raven, that's a giant raven.
Yeah, we stopped using the yellow pages a long time ago and then stopped advertising in them fairly recently. They got real thin. It was interesting. They used to be hugely thick. And now phone books, they got to be like a paperback novel, like not much at all.
And people stopped advertising them at my, thank you. At my last church I was at, I had us stop advertising in the yellow pages because all we got was people who lived somewhere in the Sacramento area just going down the list, calling churches asking for money.
Oh.
And one time we got a hold of this couple that had... one had called. They must have had 2 different phone books, or one didn't know the other. Anyway, because they gave us the same room number where they were. First of all, they were way on the other side of Sacramento, Natomas. I mean, there's 300 churches in between us and them, and what we had someone call and told us gave us the story, and then an hour later, a lady with a very similar story and telling the same story. Giving the same hotel and room number called.
Man.
Oh, you called a while ago. No. Oh, the difference was the first guy called and said, I'm just out of the hospital and I'm in a hotel. I'm trying to recover and I only have money for 2 more days here and I'm not done recovering. And then we got a phone call an hour later from the lady saying, my husband's in the hospital and has to be released, but we need money for a hotel.
Okay, that's pretty close. She's like, no, did she say, it's a different story this time?
They go, no, that's not us. I said, well, you've both given us the same hotel and the same room number where to bring it. And the reason I knew this, I didn't do the follow-up. One of the nice things about that last church is I had one former, one current FBI agents at my church. And also a Sacramento County sheriff.
Attending.
I let them take care of following up on these people.
That was a good
asking for
idea.
that stuff. So,
because
they were just... But anyway, I took us out of that phone book because that's
all you ever got was scam calls.
Scam calls. So we were just talking about the phone book. Here's the next idea. Pull out a tape recorder on your commute. Profile one person every day. Call it Commute. So I think the first subplot was explain to everyone under 25 what a tape recorder is.
Yeah. When was this written?
I don't know. I think it's hilarious that, again, I don't know if they're serious or not. I need to look into Medium and see what it is. Here's another sub idea. Pull out a tape recorder on a flight. Call it Seatmate. I just want to go to sleep. Call it, get your arm off the armrest.
You should turn into your
My
seatmate
armrest.
on the airplane going, how'd you know? And then just record their response as they're escorting you off the plane.
In a physician's waiting room. Name it HIPAA, HIPAA.
HIPAA is, it's
You
the
work at a
law.
hospital.
I do. It's the law that says you're not allowed to share other people's medical information, and it's very easy
Okay, I'm
to accidentally
guessing now
do that.
This is
Yeah,
funny for the
so
most
you're doing
part.
a HIPAA broadcast, and you're having people talk about their personal ailments.
On a roller coaster.
That was a good
Check your levels during the screams.
I think they're kidding around then.
Yeah.
They have to be.
It must be, because some of this is kind of funny, and the, hey, interview everyone, and then that's his last name, Smith. Up your game. Interview 5 people. Keep each interview to a minute. Okay. Some of these sound good, some are silly. Scavenger hunt. Request people submit different sounds every month to you. For 1 month, backyard sounds. I guess we're supposed to guess what these are. Month 2, an interview with someone who doesn't look like you.
Well, who would that be?
Be pretty much everybody.
What? I feel like I'm the, I'm the most average-looking person there is. Everybody looks like me.
You don't look like Dave.
I don't look like Dave, and Dave does not look like
I tend
me.
to blend into the background.
You're very blendy. You'd be a good spy.
Yeah, I'm stealthy.
You could blend into almost any culture.
Month 3, a minute-long ambient introduction to your town. Look, this is in jest,
Yeah.
but we need to do this.
That would be a funny one. We'd have to tell. Okay, get ready for a minute-long ambient introduction to our town. Just walk through downtown with your iPhone.
Depends on what time of day.
Go in front of Ed's. It'd be ambient.
Number 4, your month 4, an interview with a toddler.
I would like that. I think that would be good. Like Mason. I
I was
think
gonna say Mason.
Mason would be fantastic.
Mason's great. Did you see the video of him playing soccer a couple weeks
Getting
ago?
that goal.
Yeah, he just tells his dad, I'm going to go score a goal. He goes, okay. He gets on the field, he takes the ball, runs, scores the goal, and walks by like,
I did it. Yeah, it was easy. His head's down. He's looking at his toes.
Month 5, interview with an older person.
Oh, there's no such thing at this point.
Okay, interview people who make podcasts. That seems, that's what podcasts, they have different podcasters. On
I think that would be fun.
everybody's show.
I think that'd be really fun.
Interview people who listen to podcasts. Well, I certainly do that. Interview people who make podcasts.
Well, that would be a very
It's getting
meta.
progressively sillier.
I think I
Very
see
meta.
where they're headed with this.
Interview people who write 1,000 ideas for podcasts.
Oh.
Number 4, interview people who download podcasts, forget about them, and realize their iPhone is now 70% podcasts. That is funny. The next idea is a podcast that's the length of someone's commute.
So would somebody submit? They're like, hey, listen, Hartlandia, we love your show, but my commute is 45 minutes. Can you make a 45-minute show just for me? And we go, sure. And then somebody else says, man, that was great, but my commute's only 15 minutes. Do we make a new one for that person?
Well, here's the subplot, and I don't know what this means because I'm not smart enough. Use machine learning can adapt to length of time.
Oh, okay.
What's that mean?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would guess that you would set up your podcast as a series of sentences that can be formed into any length podcast, and when people, right, you could tell from their iPhone how long their commute is. Their iPhone knows because it's tracking them, right? Mm-hmm. So then, like, oh, it's a 35-minute commute. That iPhone knows to put together a 35-minute podcast based on your sentences.
All right.
Can we do that?
Possibly.
Right, I'll write an algorithm.
And then the next one is don't use machine learning. You make 1,000 different variations and cut them all together.
Man, that seems like that would take a while.
That'd be a lot of work.
I don't want to do that.
Here's a podcast for someone who works at home. Commute is 15 seconds from bedroom to couch. Okay, I believe I can give an opinion here. Well, actually, I don't take 15 seconds to get from my bed to my desk.
How long does it take?
About 3 seconds.
Have
Unless
you
there's
timed
been a accident on the highway. Sometimes there's a dirty laundry truck that was overturned. And
We're at dead center of the road.
needs to be cleared.
Get you some pylons.
Podcast for astronaut who works in space. The commute is long.
Is it though? I mean, if say they're already in space,
They're already there.
like day one might take time, but day two, you wake up and you're at work.
Your dad would appreciate this one. Podcast for submariners. It's about everything they're missing on land.
Oh man, that'd make them so sad.
You can almost do that. Not Mars Attacks. What was that radio show about Martians attacking
Oh yeah,
War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, you get to do podcasts about
We could do that, and then it'd freak out everybody in submarines, and they'd come to the surface and think that they were alone on this Earth.
Here's a good one that I could use. Podcast for people who work from home. Basically, the mundane conversations people have at work that you have to listen to. Ask people to submit the worst, best conversation they've overheard at work, and we'll get people to read them. Call it office chatter / commuteless.
Okay, so I wonder if we could just surreptitiously record people at work, and then use that. You could do a sentence randomizer for that, and make office chatter, like a background mumbling. Haha. Did you know? Da-da-da-da-da. And you'd feel like you have friends.
That's one of the reasons why I enjoy working from home.
Do you talk to yourself at home? Do you go like,
Yes.
well, aren't you? You're so excited.
Yes.
And do you record that? Make a podcast
No.
of man mumbling to himself?
Maybe I should.
I don't know if that'd
I know
be good.
sometimes when I get tired, or if I'm doing something that's very tedious, I have to say it as I did. You click here and write this, and I have to do that, or I will lose
track.
attention and lose track, and I will make a mistake. So yes, I do, and that's probably why everyone else in the world is glad that I work from home as well.
You'd be like, click, right, click, left. Good. Scroll down, pop out menu. I didn't realize I was muttering at work until at one point in one of the jobs. Should not confess this, but I said, well, I just don't care. I didn't realize I said it out loud, and then somebody 2 offices away said, well, I care. I was like, oh, might have been too loud.
Here's what I think you could use.
Okay.
I think Molly would agree with me. You guys need a podcast you can play for your dog when you leave the house.
Oh, it's a good idea. Like,
I agree with you.
Silence followed by your voice saying, "Who's a good boy? You are. You are."
who's a good Roscoe boy?
What?
Who's a good Chiefy?
I'm not even looking at you.
Chiefy! I could just do that for an hour.
For a cat, complete silence, then a can opener.
Oh, let's just see him running.
Roscoe likes kids.
Or for fish, then it says, "Do they have ears?"
They do.
I don't.
Fish have full or ears.
I interview you. You interview Joe. Joe interviews Mary. Mary interviews Greg. You get the idea.
All right, so it's sort of a interview handoff.
This is
But then you sort of surrender your show immediately to whomever.
the subplot. I interview you. You interview me. I interview you. You interview me.
Oh yeah, it's
Number
a
2.
more
I
of a-
interview you. I interview you. I interview you.
that would be
But
horribly.
I like the third one. It says, "I interview me. I interview me. I interview me." And call it diary.
You should do that, Dave.
Yes.
I don't know what I'd ask myself.
Here's a podcast called Dave Slowly Going Insane.
This descent into madness. I interview me.
Live
I interview
commentary on live events.
Ooh, we should do that.
No, I think that'd be good. That's essentially. Well, actually, the next one is live commentary on previously taped events. That's what do you call it?
The
Riff tracks.
MST3K riff tracks are live commentary on recorded events. It would be fun to take all this equipment downtown, Twain Hart, and simply narrate absolutely everything we see. Or should we go somewhere more interesting? Should we go? It's like to.
You know, I could do. We need to do that with the Twain Hart downtown webcam.
Oh yeah,
Narrate.
that would be cool.
It was fun last night, boy. I'll tell you, because there's about a 10-second delay from what's happening,
Yeah.
and I can hear if I hear a siren go, I wonder if that's Toy Not Fire or if that's CDF.
Yeah.
And if I don't have it up, I have enough time to open up the webpage and hit go, and I can see where it's coming from.
That's pretty cool.
And last night, I heard this crazy loud sound. Maybe it was Saturday night. Yeah, well, last night was Saturday.
Yeah.
Just like, what it was like a roar. It was a vehicle, but I thought it was cool. I didn't know what it was. So I got online, and I looked up, and I got just in time to see this white pickup truck seriously must have been going 65 miles an hour down Walking Gully down in front of... And earlier I had seen 2 sheriff cars go up Walking Gully the other way. I thought, but I never saw the sheriffs.
Huh. Man.
I have a very exciting life. I live in the forest, but I
watch a webcam of a street 6 streets away.
I watch a webcam like, ooh, what's going on there? So then I'll turn on the police scanner and hear it.
You're going to be a great hermit.
Oh, I got it down. If Amazon delivered food to the house, then
I think they do, right? Isn't it like a drone that delivers spaghetti?
They won't here. If we lose enough trees, they could probably...
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, they clip every tree here.
Here's another thought. A live commentary on previous taped events. Omit the commentary and just rebroadcast the live event and occasionally mutter, did you put the clothes in the dryer over the broadcast? Call it remix.
Okay, so it's like you watching it.
Live commentary on other people's live commentary of live events.
Man, that would get...
That would, but...
But would you be commentating on their commentations?
I think it'd be
their
more
comments?
smart aleck remarks to people.
I made Molly laugh with commentations. That'd be kind of fun, but I feel like I would make fun of the commenter too much. And I'd be unduly mean just for entertainment.
So it says live comments on other people's live commentary of live events. I really would have liked the commentator say more about the background of the synchronized swimmer, Greg.
Okay, so you're not necessarily slamming their
That's an idea.
skills.
Comment
on... We could do that, right?
on...
Thank you, Mom, for the pretzels.
We're having a show here. You can't show gratitude to your mom for pretzels.
Broadcast history right here. Live events. Comment on live commenters.
So would we do that for like the?
So it'd be basically riff tracks on like you bring up the 2016 Olympic gymnastics routine.
Okay, I want to do that.
Make comments on the commentator.
Yeah, you don't talk about the sport at all. You just talk about the comments. Yeah, man, his voice sounds really raspy there. I was hoping I had enough sleep.
Now we're starting to sound like. I noticed the other day our competition, Good Mythical Morning.
Man, we're neck and neck with those guys.
I noticed how they have more subscribers than like BBC Nature or whatever. Look at like things that we probably should be more important.
Like, no,
more than like National Nat Geo.
Yeah, not getting the hits. But 2 guys drinking paste.
Yeah, that's. Let's see. People reciting lists of items they've purchased in the last week.
Oh man, I just came home with a list of items I purchased, and sometimes I don't understand the codes that the grocery store uses to what the product is. So Bittlesburst, I don't know what Bittlesburst. I must buy it every time, but I cannot tell you what Bittlesburst is.
Bittlesburst?
Yeah, what?
It's something chicken breasts.
Something
Bursts or breasts.
chicken
like
breasts.
Some German candy.
Mama,
did you buy the Bittlesburst?
These are delicious Bittlesburst.
Of items
Must consume them.
bought last week.
I like that, especially if you took something old, like the '86 Olympics, something like that, or '85.
There was
I don't
some
know
funny ones on here. I think that's. I got to subscribe to this. Anyway, people telling us what podcasts as they've heard this last week. The show will be sponsored by Stamps.com. Let's see. People telling us what's in their Costco shopping car. Probably meant to say cart.
Or they're making fun of how much they buy there. It's a shopping car.
It says in parentheses, I'm obsessed with people. I'm obsessed with what people purchase from Costco, and always wonder if it could be making better or different decisions because I always go to my old standbys and can't purchase a gallon of something to test out. People's sharing something they learned today. Perhaps it's short and curated together. Curated,
Curated, right?
Together.
That means somebody taking care of it.
Think Ask Reddit, but automatically put together and listen to different voices. I'm moving on.
That seems strange.
Here's one that would be good for us. People who don't watch sports watch the same video of a sport game 10 times and explain what they watched.
I'm up for that. I don't watch sports. I have no idea.
I watch a lot of sports games.
I do not watch a lot of sports games.
I watch whatever I can watch sports-wise.
I don't understand. I understand that the ball needs to get in the net in most sports, and that's about it. Sometimes it's a puck.
Dave explains football to Matt. Both men are 50.
I'm like, what? How come they went 10 yards and still didn't get a first down? They needed to go 25 yards. Why? Well,
that's kind of like the Irish people watch football.
Right.
Irish people do such and such.
Our Eskimos eat gummy bears.
I used to really like that, but then it got so...
They knew that
everything was like, here's candies American eat. I bet this is Trump's favorite. Everything was Trump. Oh, this is what Trump eats. Oh, Trump does this. Does Trump do this? I can see Trump doing this. Like, you don't live here. Just stop talking. I have a thing about people telling us how we should run our country who have a funny... They don't live here.
They don't live here. Darn it. And they don't know. And it probably was Trump's favorite candy. Who am I to judge?
It tastes like racism and hate. People who have never been to a play go to 4 plays in a month and offer reviews. Now, that might be... I've been to a play before.
Okay, but we're not professional play reviewers. I think if we did go, like we pick a play that maybe we wouldn't normally pick, right?
Right.
So you pick... The Sisters with the Traveling Pants.
Yeah.
And that's a nice play that's going on, and we go down there, we watch it, we take notes, and then we give you what we feel is our best review of that.
Here's what people who have never been to a different country interview someone from a different country.
Okay. That would be good. I've never been to Japan. Probably want to interview a Japanese person.
Because I'm going to sound dumb. Narrating my commute to work. I'm going to do that. Narrating.
All right, write that down. I'll do it too. I'll run the mic in the car, and I'll talk you down the hill.
I'm going to make a stop for coffee, and it's going to be like the clanking of the pot, and then like the water filling up the kettle, and then you hear the water boil, and then
There'll be a lot of me muttering. I'll get in the truck like, okay. The hell am I doing? Right? Just like a undercurrent of self-loathing. And then I'll show up and I'll be like ready to go.
Now, this is what I've done this before. Narrating a fictional story about people who walk into this Starbucks over the next half hour and making up backstories about their lives.
Can we do that without drawing attention? Like,
No.
that would be so fun. And do their voices, right?
Narrating. We could... That's something we could do with the Twain Hart webcam when people... We'd have to do it earlier in the day. In the evening, it's starting to get very...
It'd be pretty sparse, right, out there. But, yeah, how do we... Since we don't have video, though, I guess at that point we could have GoPros taped to our heads.
Yeah. We could probably cut in... I don't know. Who think we would give...
I would just like to tape a GoPro to my head.
Back.
Doesn't even have to work. I just feel like it would just make me feel important.
I think your old dog Gordon, who used to have free roam of the property and go to other people's houses.
I would like to have seen that. It would have been great because you would just see his pointy ears, and then you'd see him like
go into different garbage cans
and knock it over, and like, oh, there's some old chicken, and then he'd make a whole loop, and then come back and throw it up and have a hangover. Next day he'd be miserable, and he'd do it again. I would love to see his path. I only got to see the path once when he ran away. He was next to me. He ran away, but we just had fresh snow, about 4 inches of snow. So I saw the exact path and the pace he was going because his stride increased as he knew I was following him.
Was it Gordon or was it Moon that you had a neighbor ask if they were still around because they hadn't seen. It was Moon or Gordon? It was Moon.
Yeah.
Was that when Moon disappeared for 3 months or whatever?
Yep.
Moon disappeared. Our cat disappeared for 3 months and came back very, very, very skinny. And he'd been in a fight. His face was all mashed up. But now he's fat and furry again. He never misses a meal now. I'll tell you that much.
Here's another one. Since you're way smarter than me, this will make more sense to you. A news program about the elections from the perspective of people who do not have the right to vote. So, well, maybe instead of, blowing up the internet with
political nonsensory,
we could
right?
ask Liam and Fiona.
Right, or we can go to, maybe it doesn't have to be a presidential vote. Maybe it's like a local, the TUD guy or something like
I say
that.
we interview Mason again.
Mason would be great.
Mason's 4 or is he 5 now? He's 4.
I think he's 4. He'd be great at that stuff. And I don't think he has the right to vote. He better not. I participated in the election process. I thought it'd be important to take part in being at the voting booth, helping people find their thing and register and all that stuff. And it took place in a kind of a convalescent type hospital where people maybe had some memory issues, the people who lived there, and they kept getting in line to vote, and it was a great opportunity for me to express patience. Right, you'd explain the same story. You couldn't go you were just here. You'd have to just from scratch, oh hi, thank you for coming. I'm sorry you're not on this list, and let me show you where you would be. And then he'd get to the end of the line and come back around and all day long.
Evidently,
we didn't do that again.
You're a felon.
I'm not a felon, or am I?
A news podcast featuring a newscast from where you grew up and the one from where you live right now. Hi, Public Radio. You could make this right now.
A news podcast featuring a newscast from where you grew up.
You know what? When I go back to my, stay at my mom's.
Yeah.
Because she still watches the news, and I don't really watch television. And I can't stand, I don't know what it is, but I don't know, I read on stuff online, but it just seems, it's odd. But it was such a part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's ugh. It's I never moved on from, that doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you what's funny, though. Even though she has a computer, and we've set up, she has a Chromebook, and we've set up bookmarks for her to see the weather.
Yes.
She still has to stay up to watch the weather.
Is it
on the news, the 11 o'clock news?
Is it?
I fell asleep and missed the weather. I said, every time I call, you read off the 10-day forecast to me. That's what she talks about is the weather. But she's upset that she slept through. I missed the weather.
Do you think that it has such credibility coming from the TV set at a certain time from a certain person that, you could read it on an app or on a computer?
Some people, that's all right.
I don't think the mic picked it up, actually.
We're here in the kitchen at The Rock, and the crew's shutting down for the night.
Impressive.
I think it's some people get into routines that they don't break. I mean, how many people thought when the internet came out and you could look at your phone and see the weather, thought, I don't have to stay up to the end of the news
to get what tomorrow's weather's going to be.
I mean, that's what everyone wants to know, because that's why it's at the end.
Yeah, they hold you.
Weather and sports is at the end because that's what people want to know. So they put it at the end, so you have to watch everything else and watch all the commercials in that time. That's why they do it.
That's why they do it.
And now you don't
that's why
have
they put the milk at the back of the grocery store.
Maybe it irritates me because it's still the same thing. It's why aren't you changing with the times? Why are you still doing this?
Yeah.
We don't. You're useless. We don't need to. I mean, that used to be like a teaser. The latest. The latest hullabaloo from the Mideast. You better turn at 11.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me just
Google it. That's what it is. They can't bait you into waiting until their 11 o'clock show.
I think that's what it is. It bugs me that they think
they're
that they
still doing
need
it.
to do that.
Yeah, it must be some level of delusion. I think the same people who make the yellow pages have to have some sort of well, somebody's looking at it. They're okay, it's pretty gone.
Let's see, sports. Where to begin? This podcast allows
Yellow Pages is not a
amateurs
sponsor.
to narrate pro games. I know I narrated a lot of college games
I
yesterday.
think you should still do that. They're looking for color commentary for local games.
I was yelling at the Stanford offensive line and why they weren't as good as last year. Let's see.
They didn't hear you.
Interviews with people who started playing a sport later in life. Interviews with child athletes about professional games. My nephews would be good with that. A podcast metronome to put under other podcasts to listen while playing a sport. I don't know.
A metronome?
I don't know what that means. I'm skipping that one.
Is it naughty?
No, it's just a podcast that fits between other podcasts like a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Does that...
Well, let's say people like to listen to James Bonding, and they also like to listen to Everything You Should Know. And your podcast would be Everything You Should Know about James Bonding. Right, or something like that. So it would be the transition between two other podcasts.
Well, isn't that like a... It's not like also like a wrap-up show or something, it sounds like. Like when they... Because that's the whole thing of... there's these studios that all the... Well, those aren't podcasts, those are regular... But there's media outlets, production companies that all they do is shows that are summaries of another show. And they do that on AMC. That's what that Chris Hardwick does. He does the Talking Dead. Like AMC has a bunch of shows that just people talking about a show that happened. Actually, that's a lot of podcasts. They talk about
this. Like, wasn't Talk Soup that thing? Like, Talk Soup sort of did that.
Talk Soup made fun of.
They would take little clips and make laugh jokes.
My last favorite show. A podcast about vacations that you can only listen to at work.
Oh, that would frustrate everybody. I don't want to do that. But maybe there's a podcast you could do that is how to optimize your work lifestyle so that you get vacation time sooner.
Podcasts. This one might be good. Podcasts about vacations you've never taken. So I guess it would mean we'd have to prep.
Oh, well, these are all horrible ideas. Yeah. I can't prep.
It wouldn't take too long because all my vacations favorite vacations would include a chair and a fishing pole.
Yeah, and then that'd be it. Like, what more is there to tell?
Not much more to.
Yeah.
Maybe someone delivers meals. I don't have to cook them. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're fishing, and then like a pizza cart comes by, and it gives you some like New York pizzeria style pizza,
or
Chicago dog.
I don't know. Does that mean we like make up a story about a vacation we never went on?
I guess I would take elements of truth and then just elaborate on them until it made no sense anymore, and then call it the truth.
Maybe we'll just come and I'll read, the first National Lampoon Vacation, and then.
Oh, that's good. In the first person, as if it's happening to you.
Just read it. And then the moose, I guess, was supposed to tell me that the park was closed.
Oh, it didn't.
I
It said punched it in the face.
I didn't hear anything about that.
This BB's going to leave a very serious welt.
Here's what I would not suggest. A podcast interviewing everyone at an I-95 rest stop. Maybe there's something special about. Maybe you have a specific one in mind, but I don't think interviewing people at rest stops.
I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think I would cry in the corner alone after that.
Conversations with people who have never left a 50-mile radius near their birthplace.
So somebody's their entire life is basically in their hometown.
That is, I'm sure they're out there. That'd be a tough one, but if we find one, let's do it.
I think it'd be great. Like if we find somebody in town here, it's like, I was born and raised here. I've never left. Be like, well, tell me what.
Your chickens.
Chickens have not left. They've been.
They haven't been
12-mile radius.
Yeah, but 50 miles. They've never been.
They've. That's a pretty tight loop for them.
Your chickens.
And ducks.
Ducks.
There's 2 ducks in there. 3 ducks. One's really loud and mean.
A podcast for metal detector enthusiasts that drives them crazy. So like
Pinging.
you're talking about there's a what's it? It sounds big. Oh,
Oh, it's nothing. It's always fun to see somebody with a metal detector at the beach, and then you just sprinkle some pennies in front of them.
I just thought of a legit one. If it's on here later, okay, I'm going to say it now.
Okay.
It may be down here later. I don't know.
All right, but right now it's your idea.
The weirdest YouTube rabbit holes that you've gone down.
That's a great one. Man.
And then try to remember how you got there.
Like you backtrack it. Like I was on Tested, right? And they were doing modeling,
Right.
like making a model out of styrofoam. And then I woke up. My problem with YouTube is that it goes on to the next video, and I'll fall asleep, and you wake up, and it'll be like ghosts that have killed grandparents, and it'll be like horrifying.
Right.
Like, how did I get here?
Well, I know I will. I watch a lot of fishing videos, and then there's also several channels on magnet fishing. Have you seen those?
No.
They throw big, powerful magnets into bodies of water and go hunting for stuff.
Oh, and like they get stuff. Like,
Right.
No, Fiona's watched a couple of those and wants to do
Some of them
that.
are kind of funny. Like someone's he has this super amazing, powerful magnet that he's so happy about, and then he goes to drop it off a dock, and then it bangs against the metal support, and he can't pull it off.
It's just there forever.
And another time he hit one straight down into the water. It didn't hit the side, and the guy couldn't pull it up. And they actually tied extra rope onto it and put it on the back of his truck and pulled out. And it was a picnic table. It was a metal picnic table. And someone just dropped off the side of the dock.
Whole table.
He thought he had a boat.
Yeah.
He thought he was getting a free boat.
Man.
That was just an old picnic table.
You dumb old table.
But that's a
magnet fisherman.
Because that's got Dave written all over it.
Yeah, the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next time I go down one, I'll backtrack it to how I got there. Clickety click.
In that same vein of a podcast for metal detector enthusiasts that drives them crazy with beeps, ambient noise from a truck rally, monster truck rally. I guess.
That's just so loud. I've been to one of those. It's
I
so
have
crazy
too.
loud.
I've been to drag races too.
It would just blow out your speakers. It'd be harsh white noise.
Okay, I don't know what that is. Podcast of Thunder. The dog goes under the bed. I'm missing how this is put together. I know what your dogs do when it thunders.
Oh man, they're beside themselves.
They bust out of the
Yeah, and they get all googly-eyed,
garden.
and they run free into the forest. They're running away from the safest place on earth. Their natural instinct is to sprint wildly into traffic instead of like, oh, I'll go to the house. There's scary boom noises from the sky. I should go to the ones who've cared and nurtured me. Well, no. They're like, oh, I should break this fence, and I should just run screaming into the night. And they make that same choice every time. But I love them. I'm not afraid to tell you.
Here's a weekly critique of the New York Times wedding section.
That would be a blast. I would love that. What do they talk about in the wedding section?
I don't know. I'd have to get a New York Times.
It was hard to...
There's another thing you have to tell people. You know those guys that come by early in the morning and throw something at the house? No, because we don't have that anymore.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Actually, my neighbor gets a paper.
Yeah, and we get one at work, and that's delivered by a human being.
So there's a weekly critique of the New York wedding section, or you can do a critique of the crossword puzzle, the obits, or the obit writers. I guess you make fun of writers.
Yeah, but aren't the obit writers often the family that wrote it and submitted it to?
Yeah.
It seems a little dark.
They're a little cold. Someone didn't get a hug.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to do
Someone
that.
had a few birthdays missed.
Yeah, somebody got spanked on their birthday.
People reciting their favorite joke.
That's a good one.
You know what? That'd be something that we should
That's
add to
onto anybody who shows up. Say, what's your favorite joke? I think that's a good one.
What's your favorite joke?
I was trying to think. it'll come to me later, I'm sure. I have a hard time memorizing jokes. You have a favorite joke?
My favorite jokes, I'd have to think if I personally have one. There's jokes that make me laugh because my nephews have told them to me, and they were really young, and we share nephews.
Yep. And their delivery's good, solid.
It's I remember when Zach was about 5, he said, and he started telling me. He didn't tell me it was a joke. I thought he was just telling me a story. He said there was this guy that went to the doctor, and he had spaghetti in his hair, and he had mac and cheese in his nose, and he had a banana in his ear, and he said some other stuff, and he had orange juice on his shirt, and he said, "Doctor, I don't feel good." And the doctor said, "Well, you're not eating right."
But
And it was funny because
he's 5 and he's looking at you.
He said,
Well, seriously. You're not eating right.
but he didn't tell me he was telling me a joke.
Right, you're like,
That
what
was
is going on?
hilarious. He just started saying, like, "Did this happen?"
It is a good joke.
The subplot to that is Carlos Mencia recites the favorite jokes that other people have recited. If you know what that means, Carlos Mencia is a comedian. They got really popular.
Yes, he did.
And then everyone started talking about how he stole their jokes.
He was
and
accused
he
of stealing
admitted he
jokes.
stole their jokes, and angrily he admitted it. And he's still a comedian, but he doesn't have all the TV shows.
He lost part of the thunder, yeah.
Let's see. You didn't think we were going to skip the millennials, did you? Millennials prepping for job interviews.
Yeah, I know. The millennials, right? They were what? They were born. What's the millennial age?
I don't know. I thought like
they're 30-somethings, right?
yeah, I didn't realize. I thought it was younger than that.
20-somethings.
No. I mean, it is. That's the age. I thought millennials were like high schoolers.
Little
now.
kids.
That's
They're not.
how far out of it I am.
The millennials. The millennials that I know actually are good
I
workers.
think part of that is like one of the things that makes millennials is they think they're the first people to experience anything.
Okay, that's a trait.
And like one of these things here, millennials realizing that people born in the late 90s are now in college. It's like, what? Did you know this? Yeah, I know. I remember when you were born and I was in college.
And now the cycle continues. This year, next year, my son will be a senior, and that is the class that is the first graduating class in the world that had to learn about 9/11 via history books. They weren't there to experience it. Yeah, so it goes fast. I think I got that right.
And I'm still learning about history from television.
That's the only way to do it. Yeah, that's the only way. There's no other way to learn history.
Describing visual paintings. What do you see when you walk through the Met? Tell us.
It's a canvas. It's probably 8 feet wide.
Here's the sub suggestion. Describing sunsets. And then the one below that. Describing Instagram photos of sunsets.
Your favorite.
I would like that. Are there sunset pictures on Instagram?
There might be. I know some people who, on purpose, every morning, their Instagram story is the sun rising.
Is that right? And they're showing that
every single Sunday
that they were
they
awake.
live in a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
They've only been there a few years.
And every sunrise.
Every sunrise.
I don't think I've seen a sunrise.
And now that school has started up there, it's a little before. It's a little darker. Every Sunday, every day, a sunrise.
That's dedication.
But at least they don't do that. That filter they put on, like I'm in love, and they zoom out.
Oh, that's a good idea. I love that filter.
A full hour-long ad for Stamps.com, sponsored by Squarespace.
That's actually kind of. I guess they would pull your sponsorship pretty quickly.
Let your audio recorder battery run low, really low. Interview people. Don't look at the battery. Whatever you record, that's your podcast.
Oh man, you might miss out on something good.
That
I like the idea though. Since we're doing this in GarageBand, you could set up the guest's microphone to sound like Donald Duck, and they wouldn't know that.
There you go. A 30-second Squarespace podcast sponsored by Squarespace. Let's see. 10 people watch the same scene of something they had never seen before and have to describe it. What do they sympathize with the most? That's a good one. It doesn't have to be 10, but like you can have your family out here.
That would be interesting, actually, if we showed them a clip, like some newsreel clip or something. Nothing too graphical, but then what do they walk away with? What are the input?
What do you sympathize with the most?
Right. So,
let's see.
That would be good.
Scene of
could be a traffic stop or something like that.
Let's get Liam and his buddies out here, and we'll show them a scene from one of our favorite, from like Tape Heads or something.
Yeah.
Like and then they write down their
Strange
answers.
Brew or something.
Strange Brew. And then as they're writing down their answers, we'll just talk and discuss stuff. And then we'll read them on the...
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
We could broadcast it right here.
Yeah. Different people see scenes of some things.
They watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space together, Liam and his buddies, and none of them had seen any of it, so they just saw something that had funny clowns on it. And I was on this side of the screen, back here, and listening to their commentary on it, and just it would have been worth broadcasting. They were very funny.
I remember my friends and I, this is before Riff Tracks or MSTK.
MST3K, Dave.
MST3K was the thing. We went and saw Hercules Goes to New York with Lou Ferrigno, and they dubbed his voice for the whole movie. That was
Was you and Bryce that went and saw that?
Bryce and our friend Carl Hooper, and we just yelled out stuff. And
you guys riffed the movie
was
in.
So bad, it's like
nobody was shaming you.
No one's made us.
It was like you're improving my movie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is better.
I would like to have been part of that.
Let's see. Anyway, okay. I'll have to remember that one.
That's a good one.
Let's see. A podcast about older people teaching a younger person something they were told they had to learn, i.e., knitting, or cleaning.
Cleaning. That's cool.
Next time your mom or your dad come.
Yeah. Man, that would be cool. If
That would be
mom,
very cool.
if mom taught like Fiona how to, that hook and not hook and loop. That's Velcro. But you know how you in the 70s it was popular to hook those rugs, right? You make your own rugs. There was patterns that sell, and it was like a piece of kind of potato sackcloth type stuff, and then you'd have 3-inch strands of yarn, and you could hook it a certain way and make a pattern and make your own pillows. It'd be cool to see mom teaching Fiona how to do that, or both Fiona and Liam how to do that, because I know that was a hobby she had for a long time.
What do you know? What math Liam is taking?
I have no idea. What kind of Molly? Do you know what math Liam is taking? He's taking accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing accounting.
That doesn't fit this one. But this one, the opposite of that is teenagers explain trig to old people, and then old people explain that adults never use trig.
Like, yeah,
Accounting.
that's a good one.
That doesn't
At
work.
the end of the whole lesson, right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, old people actually do use accounting. But it'd be cool if Liam taught his grandpa or grandma how to animate in like Adobe Animate or something like that. Like where you click, or even how to, I don't know, how to do some special function on the computer.
Can we do that when your mom comes?
I think we could.
Not that I'm just throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
I think it'd be
there's
good.
any specific reason why I watch that.
That would be fantastic. I'm in.
Let's see. Let's see.
I like that. I think that'd be cool. Like I remember I've taught my dad some things over the computer, but I use an Apple and he used a PC. And so I had to close my eyes and pretend like a PC was in front of me and talk him through like certain tasks. And hopefully it was successful. I think it was. He's still doing those tasks.
Mm-hmm. Here's a good one. Watch a movie that you watched during your childhood, but you haven't seen since your childhood.
All right.
Tell us about it.
That would be Goonies. Right. Saw it when it came out. Loved it.
I
Right. This is
still
our
haven't
time.
seen all of
Our
Goonies.
time is now. Yeah, but I haven't seen it since.
Gremlins, maybe that was.
Gremlins. My family. I thought, hey, everybody, we should watch Gremlins, and it was. It's pretty murderous. Like it's pretty. It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. My family turned it off.
A movie that always scared you, or you could be a first scary movie you ever remember seeing.
I used to watch Creature Features. I had a little box TV in my room, and after the parents went to sleep, I'd turn on Creature Features. It was like at 11:30, and it would be like the creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that, or it'd be like the glowing eyeball or whatever. And I'd get legitimately scared. I'd be like,
Right.
oh man, a radioactive fish or something like that. And I'd be like, oh, that's the worst. Radioactive fish. That is the worst thing that there can be. And for a whole week, I'd have nightmares about radioactive fish. I'd be terrified about radioactive fish. And the only cure would be to watch Creature Features again and be scared of like a maniacal dentist or whatever that feature was. And the old fear would be gone, and the new one would replace it and be at 100%.
I'll tell you one that freaked me out as a kid. It wasn't a movie. It was an episode of Gumby. And it was
I almost did a
something
spit take.
to do with being in the Old West and Indians.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where up in the sky, these Indian gods come in, and there's this scary music. I don't know why I probably should... If we have one of those video podcasts, we could bring it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it was, and then these weird creatures would come out and want to stand there, then one would move on, and then the next one would come out.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out as a kid. I would leave the room.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You're like, that just blew my mind. I don't know what that is. I don't like it. Gumby just turned on me. Right? Because Gumby was pretty cute. He's walking around. He's got his pony pal, Pokey.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you've got these like supernatural spirits in the sky.
Here's a great idea. I think only the most brilliant broadcasters ever think of it. Every idea that you've just read in one podcast.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like
maybe everything you've just read. Maybe. Oh no, that's different than reading every idea.
Because I think what we did.
That's the opposite.
What we did was read them all.
Never mind. I ain't as smart
And
as
try
I
to.
think I am.
We didn't try and do it. We just read the titles.
You should respond and continue this list because this is what. Did we just go through the whole thing? Oh, they must have counted all those subplots as.
The subplots count as so that's 200 podcast idea. We want you guys to obviously submit your requests and let us know what you'd like us to follow up on.
Yes, and if you're still listening, tell us what you want us to hear. Comment in the section below.
Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Hit the bell.
Smash it.
And obviously visit all our sponsors and share. I don't know what you're supposed to say. I forget. But it's all that stuff. All right, man. The music's swelling, and we're leading our way out now at this point. Did you have fun?
Oh, it was great.
I liked it.
We had something to do.
That was we did.
And minimal prep.
I love no prep. My favorite. All right, people. Good night.